really do have the power to bring people together, even in the most unlikely of places.
And that's the case with Hoops for Christ.
What's up, y'all? The Hoops for Christ prison tour is back. I believe this is the 4th time we've gone into Kentucky State Reformatory. It's KSR. We love going here because it's like a high school gym. I mean, the setup's like a high school gym. It's always packed, a lot of energy. They always have a good team. They actually got one player. I remember he was a big-time player here in Kentucky. He was a couple years older than me, all-state in high school, was a leading scorer at a Division I college, averaged almost 20 a game, and unfortunately he's in prison. But he and a few other players are actually really talented players at this prison that we get to go play these games and share the gospel with. All right, y'all, I'm here at Mid-America. I'm gonna get some shots up on the Dr. Dish, meet some of the guys. Got a quick Devo for you, and then we're headed out to the prison. I got my boy Nancy here. The shots in. I got my boy Nick.
Hey.
Van Axel.
Yeah.
Tonight's PG in prison. I want to talk to you guys about Jonah. Jonah was called by God to go and preach to people he frankly didn't want to go to, so much so that he fled from it. I'm sure other people told him not to go, but God put a call on him to go into that dark place and share the gospel. Now, Jonah's story is famous because he fled from that call. He ran from God, was swallowed up by a giant fish, was there 3 days and 3 nights. And then that's when he prayed to God and answered the call to go where God called him to share the gospel. In many ways, I feel like the prison ministry is like the call of Jonah. Whenever we go into a prison with the Hoops for Christ team, it's like going into the land of the lost and forgotten. These are prison inmates, convicted, found guilty, and I'm sure some people think that's justice, they're getting what they deserve. But as Jonah said, salvation is of the Lord. Doesn't matter if you're an inmate, in a ministry, wherever you are in life, all of us are in need of grace. Remember, for all have fallen short of the glory of God and are sinful. It's the gospel that evens the whole playing field. We're all in need of a Savior. Whatever call God has placed on your life, answer that call. Even if it takes you into a dark place, God will be with you. Even if other people don't support it or understand it, it's not their call. That's the call that God gave you. Honor the Lord with your gifts and talents and use them in a way that invests in people and points to Christ.
This is like that one.
It reminds me of,
oh man.
Because I know it's great. The prison tour, it means a lot to me, especially on a Friday. I could be doing anything else, but just really being able to exercise my gifts and God gave me to play basketball, but also just be able to minister to the inmates and see how I can change people's life through the game of basketball, and just being able to glorify God with my teammates, and just seeing how it's easy to, read the word but actually apply the word. So I'm applying the word.
The prison tour is just honestly a great opportunity to remind myself of God's grace. The guys are extremely loving, extremely thankful and gracious. These ain't animals, these are human beings. They're brothers, and so for me it's a reminder of the cross and a reminder of the goodness and grace of God.
Being able to impact somebody else's life. Me personally, I know I asked God when I finally put the basketball down as far as chasing pro dreams. I asked God, just don't take this gift from me, and how can I use it? 2 weeks after I got back to Louisville, I got a phone call about going into prisons and playing ball. So for me, it's more of an answered prayer. Just to be able to hear a lot of these guys' stories and some of the stuff that they go through, you realize like we all just one mistake away from being in the same spot. It's good.
All right. Now similar to me, right when I had my opportunity in the pros, I decided to step back and here I am. I had my chance. I had my trial with the Spurs.
Hey, what's up, Will, man?
What's up, baby? Prison Tour 18, we ready?
Yeah, baby.
We ready?
Hey, shout out to Willie Richard.
Look at that beard.
Right now.
Look at that beard right there. Come on.
Yeah,
Hey.
Louisiana.
Dang. Big
Wait,
snap.
we was gonna wait. We're gonna go and put it on camera.
Hey. You coming in with the warm up with that tonight?
Yes, sir. We going in.
Oh my
like that.
goodness.
I like that.
This is like when Will Chamberlain scored 100 points. All we got is that picture of him holding it up. I should draw a stick figure of Nance catching a body. Two of them back to back. So check this out. Mark, you gonna recap this? You remember this? This was
Oh, yeah.
last time we was here at this prison. My man Nance had the greatest 15 seconds no one will ever see.
Nance goes baseline with a guy that's probably about 6'4", if I remember right, 6'3", and the guy hits his peak, and of course Nance goes an extra 10 inches and crashes the guy, completely ends his career. So after dunking on him, they throw the ball in. They're on the other side of the court. Phillip right here steals the ball. He starts going, and he's not even at half court yet, and he just lobs the ball right at the corner of the backboard, and Nance catches it two hands behind his head. And it was the most incredible oop I've ever seen.
15 seconds. All
That
happened in
whole
15
15 second period.
Nobody recovered from the first one. Hey, here's the true story though. Nance was coming down. He ain't touched the ball in a minute. So I said, hey Nance, post this dude up. I'm gonna come to you. So I threw it to him. As soon as Nance caught it in the high post, he did a quick spin, went baseline. My man under the rim was on health side. I'm gonna just say he was guarding Will, and he turned late. By the time he turned, he was thinking, should I jump or should I go back to my cell? And then he said,
he tried to do
I ain't
both.
going back to my cell. I'm about to jump. He jumped right into the dunk. He dunked it. I wish I could take this camera in. All 300, 400 people jumped up. We get a steal as they run it down the court, and then I threw the lob. And I'm going to be honest, I just threw that lob. I thought I threw it into a checkpoint. That was a bad pass. And then just
It wouldn't have hit the backboard.
Nance
if
came
Nance
out of
had touched
nowhere, dunked that. We about to go in. Sign out.
Pray for us.
Hey, let's get it. Hey.
Stay woke.
I had a powerful conversation with one of the inmates this past game, and I'm going to call him B. So after the game, B and other inmates, we get a chance after we play them and speak to talk to them individually for a time before we leave the prison. And he opened up and shared with me something that really impacted me. He's been in prison since he was 16 years old. He's 40 now, so that's over 24 years in prison. He told me what he would tell his 16-year-old self. So looking back, what advice would he give himself? He told me this, and he asked me to share this. And B said it all starts with hope. He said there was nobody there to give him hope, not only for him to see a different life than the path he was going down, but just that nobody was there to invest the time to tell him there was a different path. His brother sold drugs. His mother was on drugs. There was no one in the home, no father figure. And all those around him in his environment were headed down the same path that he was going. So as a young man, he just assumed that that's what he was going to do. And I won't even go into the details of the crime he committed, but he said that he wished somebody had reached out to him to give him hope. It didn't even have to be someone who was ultra successful. It's just somebody in his life that would love on him, that would take the time to invest in and to speak into his life. That impacted me so much. One, for what we do with Hoops for Christ. And some of you know that I was dealing this past few days with the passing of my grandfather, who was a strong believer and is in heaven now. Just for you guys, don't overestimate the opportunities, the platform you have just to speak into people's life. Whether it's a child or another person, they need that. Even if they have a hard exterior, they'll have a bad attitude, it's all the front and the end. What they truly desire is for somebody to love on them and to speak in their life. And of course, to show them their purpose, to point to Christ, to give them a way out of maybe the situation of what feels normal to them, that there could be something more for them in their life. That really inspired and impacted me. I hope you guys take it for what it's worth in your own life, in what you do, a coach or a teacher, an employee, a business owner, or a student right now. You can make an impact.